Hey guys, and thanks for tuning in to Long Island Wargaming. And this is going to be the Friday night game that me and Anthony from the Sustainable Center did when we got up to Elmira, New York for the Crossroads tournament. While Chris unfortunately had to finish painting and basing his army, which took him until like 3 o'clock in the morning to do. So we are going to be doing our Skaven versus our Empire, and this is just a little practice game. We didn't do any of the scenarios, so let's get into it. So after playing 6 games, my memory is very blurry, so I'll do as best as I can, but for the most part I'm just going to try to breeze through these bat reps. So with deployment here, Hell Pit, slaves, plague monks, clan rats, and then all the way on the far end we've got slaves and the doom wheel, and the gutter runners going after the cannon that's in the building. And then from this angle you can just see we got the knights all the way up there. All of Anthony's infantry. We got the halberdiers, great swords, steam tank on the line, demigriffs, and there's a cannon behind the impassable terrain and a cannon in the building. And then behind that little statue, the entire tournament, all the water features were Kemrian quicksand, so that was a little bit of a pain in the butt. And then in the rest of the videos, I'm not really going to go through my units because it's not going to change. And yeah, so let's get into turn one. Anthony gets turn one. The tank obviously runs forward. Demigriffs, spring around that building, and that's it. Really, I'm not sure what happens with magic, but yeah. So on to my turn. I do try to rush the Doom Wheel as far up as I can to maybe zap some Demigriffs or the tank, but I didn't roll high enough, so I just have the giant rats tailing behind. I guess if they get zapped, they get zapped, but I'll try to pass a leadership test. Hell Pit Abomination moves up further than I really wanted to. He rolled pretty high. So he'll probably get flank charged by the knights, which isn't a big deal to me because then they'll go through that difficult terrain. Maybe they'll lose a knight, but my Hell Pit Abomination is stubborn, so I really don't care. He'll probably stick. And everything else just kind of shuffles up a little bit. The Rat Dart tries to get in the way of the tank. Not sure if that's really going to help or not. So here you can see I got the Doom Rocket is landing perfectly on the Halberdiers. It's going to be dangerous. However, I slightly cheated here, and this is something I didn't really come to my attention until somebody on Warseer decided to message my YouTube channel and tell me that since it's a shooting weapon, you can't march into it. And I sometimes will move the Engineer 10 inches, which, I mean, I guess that's right. It's a magic item, so I just never really associated it with the shooting, so I just assumed I can move forward and then just do it. If anyone disagrees or agrees, post that below. But I feel like the result's going to be the same because I would just do it again next turn, and he doesn't really have any death magic. The engineer wasn't going to die, so I'm going to say the result's going to be the same. As you can see here, I rolled 5 dice, so I mean, it was going to be somewhat of a variable anyway. I probably would have waited until I was closer, which means I'd roll 4 dice and it would be even more accurate, but I just felt like, moving this along a little bit quickly. So the engineer's doing his shit a little earlier. So this ends up taking out most of the unit. We won't just take into consideration that majority of the unit's gone. We just didn't want to peel off the guys and have to re-rank it. So there's like, I don't know, 20 guys left or something. We slowly just grind this unit away. So we're just keeping wound counters on the back. The gutter runners go ahead and just charge and capture the building. So they're in there now. Took no problem taking that with the cannon. And in this turn, you can see I take a charge against the Doom Wheel. It's not going to be good. Maybe I'll get a wound or 2 out from the grind, but unlikely. Of course, there's the flank charge onto the Hell Pit Abomination. And the infantry just move up, and that's it. 2 cannons follow to knock out the Plague Furnace, which is annoying, but oh well. I do have the Iron Curse icon, but that did not help me. No surprise here, the Doom Wheel's out. I'm not quite sure if the deployment or the way I was sending him was optimal, but you know what? When there's 2 cannons on the field, there's really no time to waste trying to get that thing where it needs to get to. So 4 Inner Circle Knights eat it. I'm not sure if it's 3 wounds and one's from the difficult terrain, or maybe the Hell Pit just did 4. And then he ends up taking 2 wounds, but he will end up reforming and facing the Knights. Now, just out of curiosity, what you guys think, I reform so there's less guys touching. However, there is that 1 to 2 roll that it affects everyone that's touching. So against the Knights, it might have been worth doing that, but I mean, at this point, they're not going to be in Lance strength, so I was going to be able to survive. But I don't know, just interesting. But he's probably going to do fine going forward anyway. The Hell Pit Abomination sticks, of course, and you can see I just move up my giant rats to hopefully redirect those demigryphs. And the engineer I'm just going to feed to the tank and just, hopefully prevent anything from getting too close to me. So, not sure what the lightning cannon has done up to this point. I mean, I've been trying to either kill the tank or do some wounds to demigryphs. Now I remember I tried to shoot at the cannon. I either hit the tank or overshoot, but the lightning cannon does drop its template into the halberdiers, which is devastating. Even at a strength 2, that's going to be a lot of guys, but I think I rolled high enough that I'm wounding on 2, so there ends up being like 4 guys or 5 guys and ended up in this unit. The abomination finishes off the knights. The hero turns and flees. I take a test to stay just because I don't feel like going into the dangerous terrain, but also I need him back into combat to either finish off the halberdier unit or maybe try to do some damage to the tank. So he turns and reforms. And I'm going to get into something I'm probably going to do throughout the rest of these videos with the GTA tournament, is that talk about the point in the game where either the Great Horn Rat either turns his head and lets the worst happen to me, or he gives me my blessing. And in this case, I did not have the Great Horn One's blessing because Anthony makes a charge against my giant rats. Of course I flee. Why? I mean, he thinks I should have stayed there and fight. I mean, I didn't want the guys any closer, so I was just hoping for a false charge. He redirects and needs an 11, so he was sitting like 15 inches away from my guys, and he rolls an 11. So he flies across the battlefield 15 inches, which was great to my surprise. You can see they were right next to the halberdiers all the way back there, and they made a huge surge forward, and this didn't give me a chance to react because what I've been doing is letting the Grey Seer sit in the front so he can get Plague off and any of those 12-inch spells into the last possible moment and then jump back into that little unit that's chilling out in the back on the table edge and just have him and the BSB chill there. So I wasn't able to do that because now the Great Sword's in combat, so he's going to go ahead and kill my BSB and my hero, which is something that happens all the time when I play Anthony, is he's able to get in when he needs to and just kill off my heroes. That happens against his warriors, that happens against his empire last time I played him, but I don't know if this is 100% an error on my behalf because not many people will predict the 15-inch charge, but if that wasn't the case, then I wouldn't have been getting Plague in the dreaded 13th off, which is what's killing stuff. I mean, you can see right there, I'm assuming I killed a handful of Great Swords from Plague. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about that, but that kind of sucks. So this is the point in the game where it's like, yeah, I'm losing my magic, I'm losing my, BSB. I'm going to sit there and grind the unit down, of course, because I've got so many clan rats there, but it's not going to make a difference. This hero was supposed to run off the battle edge, but he decided to roll just low enough after failing his test to stay right there. And no surprise again, this thing goes flying into the Hell Pit Abomination. It will knock it out. You can notice the halberdiers reform into rank and file. I think there's like 1.5 ranks. They're just going to be facing towards the Hell Pit and or the engineer. I'm pretty sure the 2 cannons, or the 1 cannon at this point, is able to knock out the lightning cannon. Like I said, my heroes die in combat, and I only lose 2 other clan rats, which didn't really make much sense to me, but that's probably because he focused fired my heroes, which is really what he needed to do. He doesn't need to really worry about the clan rats because they're going to sit there anyway. Right now, without the heroes, they are leadership 8 with all their ranks, so yeah. So the Hell Pit dies. I get some rat swarms. I got 3 rat swarms. I mean, they're just going to sit there and get grinded down. But I mean, now we've got 2 unbreakable units fighting, but it really is not going to make a difference. So I try to clean up the battlefield by getting some points. My gutter runners from behind try to charge the halberdiers. They miss it. They needed like a 6 or something, and they rolled like a 2, really bad. The engineer had to go into combat against the halberdiers in order to get the plague monks onto that flank charge, which would be great. I should be able to kill a ton of guys just with the plague banner alone. The thing is, though, the great swords are of course stubborn no matter what. I sent that little bunker unit in, maybe with a chance to kill the hero, the caster that's on the corner there, but I'm not too optimistic. But at this point, I need to fight for whatever points I can. The slaves are chilling here. I think that one of the demigryphs takes a wound to difficult terrain or something, but this is just another shot of the battlefield and the grind with the great swords. And I, at some point, get flank charged, and Anthony's turn, I guess. And yeah, so I wasn't able to kill as many great swords as I wanted to. And I mean, remember, that's not that huge unit back there. It's like 4 or 5 guys. I don't remember. You'll have to wait for Anthony's report. But yeah, so it's just a big clusterfuck, and I can't do anything because my guys suck. Demigryphs are going to go against the slaves. These slaves are at leadership 5, but he ends up killing a few and they end up sticking. I honestly don't remember what happened here, but you could just see that the plague monks have turned and fled, and they just bounce through everything and they end up on the other side of that statue. But at this point, I call the game because, I mean, I've lost all my big stuff. I'm not going to really worry about warp fire throwing the rest of the, 5 or 6 or 10 halberdiers. Um, I'm not going to throw the slaves into the tank because, I mean, at this point, you want to make sure you get some points still in the battlefield so you don't completely give yourself away. But we didn't calculate victory points or anything. Really, I feel like the point where I lost this game is that awful charge because when the Gracier and the BSB jump into that back unit, I'll be able to sit there and continue doing my magic, my wither, my plague. I don't care if I plague my own guys. I do it all throughout the tournament. Maybe not the best decision, but it gets the job done. And yeah, so I just gotta be more careful. That stupid charge that happened against Empire when I played Rich, he rolled a 12 and he went freaking 16 inches across the battlefield, and I just had no time to react. So. But yeah, so that's yet another loss to the Sustainable Center. At some point, I'm going to have to try to score a win. I do not count the victory against his Bretonia as a win just because it's Bretonia. So yeah, so that's the pre-game, and at this point, we go back to finish off our box of beer in the hotel room, just harass Chris and just bust his balls for painting his army at the last minute. So thanks for watching, and wait for game 1. It should be up shortly.